Golden Age Hollywood was a time of glamour, fame, and unchecked extravagance. But behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, some of the era's biggest stars made purchases so bizarre and over the top, they defied belief. From private zoos to secret pyramids and even a hidden film reel that could rewrite a Hollywood legacy, these weren't just splurges, they were reflections of fame taken to the extreme. In this video, we're diving into the most absurd and jaw-dropping purchases made by Hollywood legends. You won't believe what some of your favorite stars spent their fortunes on, and the secret that's still buried. Charlie Chaplin wasn't just the king of silent comedy, he was also a king of bizarre indulgences. By the height of his fame, Chaplin had racked up a collection of shoes from around the world. But these weren't just any shoes. Each pair had its own backstory. Some he wore on film sets. Others were gifts from royalty and dignitaries. So what did he do with all of them? Instead of tossing them in storage, he purchased a lavish estate in Beverly Hills, complete with temperature-controlled rooms, just to house his footwear. The house had custom-designed glass shelving, velvet-lined walls, and even golden tags for each shoe's origin story. Visitors recall Chaplin giving tours of the collection like it was an art museum. Some say he even spoke to the shoes when no one was watching, though that may have been one of many Hollywood exaggerations. But the point was clear. Chaplin wasn't collecting to impress anyone. He just really loved his shoes, and he had the money to treat them like royalty. While other actors were spending on cars or lavish parties, Chaplin was turning footwear into a historical exhibit. And that's just the beginning. If Chaplin's shoe mansion sounds quirky, wait until you hear what one legendary actress bought for her dogs. It's a whole new level of extravagant. Joan Crawford was Hollywood royalty, and she made sure her dogs were treated like royalty too. While other stars pamper themselves with jewelry and champagne, Crawford had a different idea: a crystal bathtub. Not for herself, but for her beloved poodles. This wasn't just any tub. It was custom-made from Baccarat crystal, imported from France, and embedded with gold-plated fixtures. Estimated at over $100,000 in today's money, the tub had a special ramp so the dogs could walk in without lifting a paw. A dedicated grooming room was built around it, staffed with full-time attendants who massaged the pups with imported oils and shampoos. Friends of Crawford say she spent more on her poodle's spa days than most families did on housing. She reportedly once canceled a major press event because one of her dogs had a sniffle. Even crazier, she had matching monogrammed towels for each of them. While Crawford's grooming suite became legendary among Hollywood's elite, others were spending fortunes in entirely different ways. Case in point, Errol Flynn, who once purchased an actual pirate ship, not a replica, the real thing. Yes, Hollywood was wild, but Flynn's purchase might have been the wildest of all. Errol Flynn was known for playing swashbuckling heroes, but off-screen, he lived like a real pirate. So when he heard about an actual 18th century pirate ship being auctioned off in the Caribbean, he didn't hesitate. Flynn wired the funds immediately and had it shipped, piece by piece, to California. This wasn't a replica. The ship had real history: cannon ports, hand-carved figureheads, and a captain's log with tales of buried treasure and mutiny. Flynn had it reassembled in a private dock near his mansion, transforming it into his personal party barge. The deck became a dance floor, the captain's quarters a wine cellar, and the crow's nest, well, let's just say it became an infamous makeout spot. Hollywood insiders were obsessed. If you got invited aboard, you knew it was going to be a wild night. Rum flowed, live parrots squawked overhead, and Flynn, dressed in full pirate gear, played host like it was the 1700s. It's said that some of the wildest deals and breakups in Golden Age Hollywood happened aboard that ship. And although Flynn's finances later took a nosedive, he reportedly refused to sell the ship, calling it his one true treasure. That ship made headlines, but next up, another actor spent a fortune building a miniature town just so he could play mayor. While James Stewart is remembered for his wholesome roles, his biggest splurge might surprise you. Tucked away in the California hills, Stewart secretly built an entire miniature town, complete with roads, storefronts, a train station, and even tiny townspeople crafted by hand. This wasn't a hobby. It was a full-blown obsession. The town, dubbed Stewartville by friends, stretched across an acre of his property. He hired carpenters and dollhouse makers to bring it to life, sparing no expense. Each building had working lights, plumbing, yes, tiny plumbing, and functioning clocks. There was even a mayor's office, occupied, of course, by Stewart himself. Friends said Stewart would spend hours walking through his creation, pushing a remote-controlled trolley and narrating stories about the town's citizens. He even created scandals, elections, and weekly newspaper updates for the town. It wasn't just make-believe, it was a whole universe. Some found it odd, others found it endearing. But everyone agreed no one had ever seen anything like it. When asked in an interview why he built it, Stewart simply said, "Sometimes the world feels too big. I wanted one that fit in my hands." Up next, another actor who didn't build a small town, but instead bought a real-life ghost town, just to throw parties. Gable, the king of Hollywood, wasn't satisfied with fancy cars or luxury estates. No, he went bigger. Much bigger. At the height of his fame, Gable purchased an abandoned mining town in Nevada, yes, a real ghost town, with the sole purpose of turning it into his private party playground. The town had once been a thriving silver hub, but by the 1930s, it was little more than boarded-up saloons and dust. That didn't stop Gable. He invested a small fortune restoring the wooden buildings, installing electricity, and even reviving the old-timey piano bar. He flew in Hollywood's elite by private plane and hosted weekend-long parties, complete with Western-themed dress codes and poker tournaments in the former sheriff's office. Guests reported that Gable would lead sheriff raids, arresting fellow actors in mock jail cells. Some found it hilarious, others said it was a bit too real after a few glasses of bourbon. There were rumors of secret filming projects, and even treasure hunts buried in the hills nearby, though nothing was ever confirmed. While the ghost town eventually fell back into ruin after Gable's interest faded, it remained a symbol of just how far stars would go for novelty. And speaking of novelty, one actor decided his face was too famous to be seen in public, so he built a $200,000 mask collection to go incognito. That actor, the ever-eccentric Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was as unpredictable off-screen as he was on it. Fame had taken a toll on him, and he often spoke of feeling trapped in public spaces. So he found a creative and expensive solution. Brando commissioned a mask maker in Italy to create hyper-realistic disguises that would let him walk unnoticed among the public. We're not talking cheap rubber Halloween masks. These were custom-molded, hand-painted masks made from silicone and medical-grade materials. He had over 70 of them, ranging from elderly gentlemen to construction workers, and even one modeled after a jazz musician he met in New Orleans. Each mask came with a matching outfit and backstory. Brando reportedly had fake IDs, resumes, and even business cards for his various personas. Friends said he once spent an entire week as Frank, a retired plumber who loved blackjack, and no one recognized him, even when he sat down at a bar with his own movie playing on the TV. The entire collection cost more than a luxury home at the time, but Brando insisted it was cheaper than therapy. This strange passion didn't just amuse his inner circle, it confused them. But for Brando, it was freedom. While Brando masked himself to escape fame, another star used her wealth to turn her home into a living opera stage, complete with secret trapdoors and a rotating balcony. That diva? The incomparable Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was the epitome of mystery, famously private, rarely giving interviews, and often disappearing from the public eye altogether. But what many didn't know was that she channeled her love for solitude into something extraordinary. Deep within her Beverly Hills estate, Garbo commissioned the creation of a private opera house. It was an architectural marvel. The main room could seat just 20 guests, but the detailing was fit for a palace: gold leaf ceiling murals, imported velvet curtains from Vienna, and a crystal chandelier rumored to have belonged to Marie Antoinette. A rotating balcony allowed Garbo to watch performances from different angles, all at the press of a button. And the shows? Completely private. Garbo would fly in European sopranos and chamber musicians for one-night performances. No press, no parties. Just Garbo, her closest confidants, and the music. She even had trapdoors beneath the stage for dramatic effect, once surprising her guests by rising out of the floor to deliver a monologue herself. This wasn't just indulgence, it was performance art in its purest form. While her contemporaries were appearing in tabloids, Garbo was living in a world of candlelight arias and whispered applause. But if you think that's wild, wait until you hear about the star who turned his mansion into a functioning zoo, with some creatures not even legal to own at the time. That would be the ever-bold Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes was a billionaire playboy, aviator, and filmmaker, but above all, a man of endless eccentricity. And nothing screamed eccentric louder than the private zoo he built at his Los Angeles mansion. Not a few birds and koi fish. This was a full-blown wildlife habitat. He brought in giraffes, peacocks, exotic reptiles, and even a baby elephant he nicknamed Peanut. Rumors swirl that he had 2 snow leopards roaming the garden, though those claims were never confirmed. One thing's for sure, the place was loud, chaotic, and undeniably wild. The zoo was tended by a rotating staff of animal specialists flown in from around the globe. Hughes spared no expense, custom climate control systems, imported food for each animal's dietary needs, and a full-time vet on call. At one point, neighbors complained about monkey screeches disrupting their dinner parties. Why did he do it? Some say it was for amusement. Others claim he saw it as a metaphor for Hollywood, a collection of beautiful but unpredictable creatures trapped in a gilded cage. Whatever his reasoning, Hughes' animal obsession became legendary. And he wasn't the only one fascinated by the bizarre. One iconic actor built an actual pyramid on his property and slept inside it, believing it gave him eternal youth. That actor, none other than Vincent Price. Vincent Price had a flair for the dramatic, both on and off the screen. Known for his chilling voice and horror roles, he also had a secret obsession with Egyptian mysticism. So much so that he built a full-scale, limestone-clad pyramid in his backyard and used it as a bedroom. According to friends, Price was convinced the geometric design of pyramids emitted energy that could heal the body and extend life. Inspired by ancient texts and fringe science, he commissioned architects to design a structure aligned precisely with the stars, mimicking the orientation of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Inside, the room was furnished with gold-plated mirrors, incense burners, and Egyptian relics, some authentic, others extravagant reproductions. At night, he would sleep on a stone slab said to channel the universe's frequencies. Whether it worked or not is up for debate, but Price swore by it. He reportedly credited his youthful energy and glowing skin to his pyramid naps. He even invited guests to recharge inside, though most politely declined. It was odd. It was excessive. But in classic Vincent Price fashion, it was theatrical to the very end. Still, all these purchases pale in comparison to the final one on our list. The most expensive, most mysterious, and most controversial buy in Golden Age Hollywood history, an item so bizarre, it remained hidden for decades. In the 1960s, a reclusive Oscar-winning actor whose name was long erased from the limelight made a secretive purchase from a private collector in Europe. The object? A single reel of film, badly aged, unlabeled, and nearly forgotten. But what was on that reel would spark whispered rumors for decades. The footage, it turns out, was a lost audition tape from the 1920s. But not just any tape. It appeared to feature a young actor who was never credited, yet bore a striking resemblance to one of Hollywood's biggest stars. The implications? That the actor we all thought we knew may have not been the original at all. The buyer reportedly paid over $2 million for the reel and locked it away in a vault beneath his home. According to anonymous sources, the reel included notes suggesting a stand-in was used early in the famous actor's career, perhaps due to illness, perhaps due to scandal. Conspiracy theorists ran wild with it. Was it a brother? A look-alike? A contract-breaking cover-up? No one knows for sure. The actor who bought the reel never spoke of it publicly, and the tape has never resurfaced. But one thing's for sure, of all the absurd and extravagant purchases made by Golden Age legends, this was the one that could actually rewrite history. And maybe, just maybe, the most outrageous purchase wasn't a yacht or a zoo, but a secret truth Hollywood never wanted us to find.